and you can leave the seminar right now. That's right, you can just exit out of the seminar, close it, and go do something else, because we only want positive people who really want to speak English and who have the ability to listen to information and to learn. Okay, great. So right now you're probably thinking something like, well, this is great and I'm excited for the seminar, but who is this Chris person? So for those of you who don't know who I am, let me quickly tell you who I am. Well, my name is Christopher Huntley, but I also use the name Chris Americos. I'm a professional teacher, teacher trainer, business coach, and entrepreneur from the United States. And I've lived in a lot of different places in my life. I've lived in Germany, Italy, and Russia, but also the United States, where I've lived in a lot of different places too. For example, Ohio, Hawaii, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Florida. I've started multiple teaching businesses, and that's helped me a lot in my life. I can travel a lot, spend time with my friends and my family when I want, and work when I want. And one of the things I love doing more than anything else is teaching English. It's my passion. I absolutely love it. And I've been teaching for about 10 years and creating resources and lessons and programs for students and teachers. You can find my YouTube channel called English with Chris Americos and see that I have over 500 free video lessons there. I also have a great Facebook group called English with Chris Americos, where we post useful resources every day. And I create these resources because I believe that students should have everything they need to really learn English at a high level. When I look online, I always find resources that aren't very good. And there are some teachers out there who they just don't know what they're doing. They're giving people the wrong information, and that makes me sad and upset because I know that students are looking at that information and they're getting confused. So one of the things I've done is started showing teachers and students how they should approach learning and teaching the language, and I want to tell you about that right now. You see, most students and teachers around the world focus on communication only. I agree that communication is very important, but there are other important things that influence how we communicate that we also need to consider. One of those things is relationships. When we first meet a person, we usually use different words or phrases than when we speak with someone who we've known for a long time. It's the difference between formal and informal language usually. So when a teacher and a student meet for the first time, they'll probably say, hello. But when they meet for the 25th time, they'll probably say, hi. That's a very simple example of how relationships influence the words we use to communicate, and why it's important for teachers and students to understand that the relationship they develop when learning the language will help them develop their language and social skills. A large percentage of our communication is body language. It's non-verbal signals. That means we don't speak it. We just do it. Language and communication are things that we do. So if we really want to communicate effectively, we should stop focusing only on speaking and start focusing on communication and relationships. A few years ago, I started to understand this more and more, and I was really interested. I wanted to learn as much as I could. That's when I developed a completely new approach to teaching English called the communicative relationship approach. This is something that no one in the world was speaking about because they all thought that just sitting in a room and speaking all day would help students learn. But what I found was that students learned better and faster when we created a relationship. It's not a real relationship. I mean, it's not a romantic relationship or anything like that, and it's not a true friendship either. It's a sample relationship that is based on language learning. It's a relationship that students can use and remember and think about when they meet new people. But I still found that communication and relationship building only were not enough to help all of my students get awesome results. Most of my students got amazing results, but there were a couple students who still didn't seem to have the great results that I wanted them to have. So I went back and looked at my approach again. I studied it for another 2 or 3 years and looked at what was different about my super successful students and what was different about my students whose results were just so-so. And after lots of research and investigation, I found the answer. There was a third very important component to students' success in learning English, which was the self. The student needed to have a strong sense of self to succeed. They needed to be self-confident, decisive, ready to take risks and make mistakes, open-minded, and they needed to believe in their own ability to succeed. So I combined those three things together: communication, relationship building, and sense of self. And I created a totally new approach that no one is talking about and no one else is using to get amazing results for every student I work with. This approach is called the integral approach to learning English. So right now, because you are part of this seminar, you're going to learn things that are completely new and no one else is teaching them. They are more effective than traditional ways that people have been learning and teaching English for the past 100 years. And you're going to learn them right now here with me today. Now, let's get started. The first thing we absolutely must do today is set your language learning goals. If you've never done this before, then it might feel a little strange the first time, and that's okay. In fact, it's good if it feels strange, because that means that you're trying something new and you're making progress. If you always feel comfortable, you'll never make progress. So it's good if you feel a little uncomfortable doing this. To set your goals, you need to have a piece of paper, you need to pick up a pen and get ready to write. You'll have to listen and then think about what I tell you, and then write information about yourself on your piece of paper. At the top of the paper in front of you, you need to write a few words. You're going to write one word on one line, and then skip a line or two and write the next one. And then you'll do the same thing with each word that I tell you. Ready? Okay. The first word you need to write is words. That's right. Write the word words at the top of the paper. Okay, next. Write the word rules. Remember to skip a line or two between each word. Okay, after that, write the word speaking. That's an important one. Next, write the word books. And then the last one, write the word films. Okay, so now you should have those 5 words written on your paper, and what we're going to do is set our goals for each of these categories. First of all, next to where you wrote the word words, you need to write how many words you want to learn in the next 12 months or the next 6 months. I know that 12 months might be a long time for some people, and that's okay. If 12 months is too long, then you can plan for 6 months. So all you need to do is write a number. How many words are you going to learn? Then, write the number of grammar rules that you're going to study in the next 6 or 12 months. Grammar rules are important because they give structure to the language and help connect all of the words that we know. After that, write how often you want to have speaking practice and how many times you'll be able to focus 100% on speaking in the next 6 or 12 months. It might be speaking practice with a native speaker, with a teacher, or maybe just with a friend. Research has shown that speaking a language helps you learn and remember it. You really need as much speaking practice as you can get. The best way to learn English is to practice speaking every day for at least 1 hour. I understand that it can be difficult to find someone to speak with every day, but this is probably the most important thing to focus on when learning the language. You must have speaking practice. Next, write how many books you're going to read in the next 6 or 12 months. They don't have to be hundreds of pages long, and they don't have to be originals, but they must be in English. And lastly, you need to write how many films you're going to watch in English in the next 6 or 12 months. I know that you might not even have enough time to watch entire films, but you should at least be able to find 15 to 30 minutes to watch a TV show. It's important to watch films and TV shows in English because you get to improve your listening skills, you get to learn new vocabulary, hear natural pronunciation in real-life situations, and most importantly, have fun. Make sure you write down your goals on this piece of paper before moving forward, because setting goals and having a plan will help you learn English better and faster. There was a research study done at Yale University. They interviewed students who were graduating from the university one year and asked them about their goals. They asked if they had any goals. Then they asked if they had specific goals. They wanted to know what their goals were. And then they asked if they had written their goals on paper, where that paper was, and how often they looked at their goals. 20 years later, they interviewed the same people and found that the students who had written their goals on paper achieved